So in this video, we will be going over how to add in our audio, our flashing SVGs, as well as our table of contents. So we'll be covering that. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. So we already have some pages so we have this overview page with nothing on it. We'll just ignore that. Have an operating system, system select, and framework. So really, we just need to go get our SVGs that we'll need. Pretty sure all these are just from SVG repo. Here's the Apple one right here. Go ahead and download that to here. Source assets SVG. Colin Apple SVG. Get the Apple one. V. I'm gonna grab that one. View. And so, uh, that's actually a different window. We need to grab all of them manually, right? Windows, sure it's this one. Oh, this one. Windows. Need one for Linux. Just gonna get this one. Linux. Okay, after that, ionic and spelt. Ionic. Make sure we're getting the right one. Yeah, this is like one whole thing. Maybe I did not get it from here. Might have to look. I'm gonna see a spell. Spell. I don't know if I spelled that right. Spelled. Go to E. So grab this one. So, we got Angular and React. Angular. Probably this one. It's a little wider on the left side. Angular and React. Okay. For this Ionic one, let me see. It didn't come from Ionic's icons, did it? Icons. And I think they even give you, let me see, Fatacon PNG. Oh my god, that one's still the same. Oh, somewhere. I will have to figure out, refigure out where the heck that came from. Okay, so I found it here, and this looks just like the one that I used. So cool. Go ahead and download this SVG. It's called Ionic. Cool. Then, gonna have all these links saved now. Okay, so coming back to this and trying to get our buttons, and let's just go ahead and get that over with. So we won't be using these buttons, but we'll be using these buttons, these icons, and making them buttons to go back and forth. So let's just quickly work through that. Operating system. Yeah, I don't know why these turned blue again. You know, they should only be blue when they're not imported. I think it has something to do with messing with this stuff. But yeah, I don't want to spend too much time trying to figure that out, and that's not helpful. So, anyway, so just working off looking at the other project and working off of that. We have a return button at the top. This thing. Yeah, I already know that's a button. Probably really have to look at it. It's an ion button. I'm going to need to import ion button, import ion button for often view. Is that right? There you go. And what? These don't turn green either. Oh my gosh, it's so annoying. I wonder if I just. Okay, I'm not gonna. Yeah, yeah, I've already wasted enough time. There's just too much going on in my life right now. Just symbol, that it says uh return in it, right? Return. There's nothing special about it. Um, see that. Wonder if I already see the words on it. Is there something else wrong? What do you say? I am. What did I do? Oh, I said from view. That ain't right. At ionic. And they're not showing this either. Man, it could be that they just want me to restart the adder, but I think it's just that ionic slash zero. Okay. Okay. The card is dark. Great. Here we go. And yeah, so this will be well, just like the previous button. If we just bring up our previous button, okay, here's previous button. And we just need to do something like this. So, too much shit. Maybe I just call it what previous page or something. Yeah, sure. Previous page. Fine. What did I say? Is it previous page? Okay, so at click, that's what we'll do. At click equals this function. Should be simple enough. Okay, it's not quite working for some reason. Oh, we need to import navigation. It has no idea what this is. Okay. So import our global state variable navigation. And it really should be giving us an error. I guess I'm gonna try restarting this and see if it does anything, but oh my gosh. Okay, now it works. Well, let me just try killing these and hoping for the best. What the hell? Nope. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Jesus. Man, that was hella annoying. It seems like just restarting it fixed it, but no, that's very bad. See, you can't even tell that things are wrong. See, now you can tell things are wrong. Yeah, no, it makes coding so much harder when the ID is not showing you errors and stuff. Okay, so we got that. We don't need the previous button anymore. We got something covering that. Okay. Gonna need some icons. Let me see. An icon. We'll need one for our windows. Just open the other one. Open the open folder. This one. not quite in the same place. Something like this. And then you get imported at icon. Okay. Let me see it. So we need to, let's say, all right, start column. Okay. What sizes are we using for this? App selection icon. Must have it set in one of in our layout. So I guess we're just doing 100 by 100. App selection icon. We'll just go throw this in our layout CSS file. Mm-hmm. Start it not. Okay. And we'll select this class. Not here. Okay. Okay. Something. And I guess we can just throw a label under it. Says ion text. Technically, it should be a label, please, for a button, and blah, 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 blah. So, you know what? Fuck it. I ain't even gonna do this. I'm gonna just put text. I don't even care. But technically, you might have a nerd complain at you saying that it should be a label. So, keep that in mind. Someone nerdier than me, right? Okay. Yep. There's some text, but let's go ahead and import it. I already did. Okay. Something else. Because we're gonna want to. Well, I guess let's just get them all in before I even do that, and I will just throw these in some divs because we're gonna want to have a different kind of spacing for all of these, and we'll use these divisions to separate them, and we'll have to throw in some other classes to do that to make sure that they stay in the form of a column, basically. But this will make this one item within this div instead of two separate items. So we'll go ahead and do this, do it 2 more times, and we need to do this with only this apple. And Lex, I see nothing. Probably because the apple's black. Um, and I might have to do something to the apple to make it so that we can actually color it. Oh, that's not right. Color equals dark so that we can actually color it. Okay, so we talked about this before about not being able to control the color of our SVG. Blah blah blah. Here. Source assets, SVG. Where's the apple? We open this in Notepad++. Find all the fills and go kill them. Burn them with fire. Definitely these at least. I think these don't really matter, but this is filling in all black. On that for sure. I think the even outs probably doesn't matter. It's gray. I'll give it line. But it still shouldn't. Okay, it's good enough. Okay, cool. Okay, so now that we have that, um, we can add another class. Call it. I think I was calling it in the other one like path selection container. Let's put that first. I think I had recently looked at that. Uh, Basically, this is something that also goes inside of Can't undo it. Like when you do display flex column and stuff, you can also specify the gap in it to be like the 20px. Like if we just went and threw that in here, this should affect this, but it would affect everything else as well, right? Was it his flex center column? Wait a minute. I'm in the other project. Dum. So if we go to the original project, go to layout, and we go here. You throw this in here. It actually has a gap. It has a gap between like everything that we don't want to do it to everything, right? We only want to do it to our top selection container. So we can go ahead and copy that, your new class, app selection container, and throw that in there. It has a gap of 20. So this way we can just apply it to the container and not everything in the whole project, right? It's already there. Is it already working? I think so. I think this is like the gaps in 20. But you see, we have these dividers, so it's like there's only 3 items within this div, so that we have just those gaps. But if we didn't have these divs, it would be like there were 6 items, and they would all have that 20 added to them, which is something we wouldn't want. But yeah, I think it's already working, looking at it. Yeah. Okay, cool. That's basically that. So we would not have a next button. If we go to the next button, just go ahead and add this a scene. I'm just doing next page, right? The windows. Oh, right. It's a little bit more complicated than that because you have to play the sound effect, then go to the next page. But let's just go to the next page for now, and we will get to the audio after. After we've got covered, after we get like this stuff in there, right? It's good enough. So just Windows and everything's a button, right? Because you need it to show you the finger. It's got to show the mouse cursor should turn into a finger when you hover over it like that. So go ahead and put our icons and some buttons for the Windows one at least, right? Ion button. Let's say at click equals previous page, but it really should be the next page. Where and we want to put this around our icon. I'm going to want to fill clear so that the button doesn't have any color or nothing. Fill equals clear. You're not seeing nothing. Why are there 2 of these? What did it? Um, I don't have 2 of these, do I? I mean, I must be. Okay, refreshing is fine. Okay, so we got that. And that takes us to the next page. So let's at least get this out of the way. This is not the right project. Thought that looked like way too much. Okay, so let's see, operating system. No next page button anymore. Get those out of the way. Let's just go throw these in there for our framework and our language. Oh, they had some other stuff here that really shouldn't be there. Okay. And let's just copy our script. Oh, and now they're all basically the same, going off into nothing. Okay, so let's replace the framework select. We need our ionic icon. Big. buttons yet. Don't see shit. Uh, color equals. I might have to color this blue. It might be black. I might have to do something to see that. And then, what is it? Spell. No. Okay, that will do at least. We can get rid of this one. And then lastly, we have our other ones. For the language. Okay. View, React, and Angular. Okay. So now it at least looks right. Sort of. We'll find our ionic one. Get rid of all the fills. Why do I not see nothing? I see fill none of this. What's out of here? Why is nothing? Okay, it's fill black, black. None of that. None of that. None of that. Something here. None of that. Save it. Refresh it. Okay, cool. So now, cool. Now we have that done. Okay, one quick thing. Probably noticed that we have this border around our page in the main one, but not here. Uh, Other than just get muscle, bring muscle and stuff. But anyway, the only way to the way that you add that, you can just get rid of that this stuff. You can just add a class. I also notice I have this full screen here. I think I might have already shown what happens when you don't have this. If I go to the about page, since that's where I am at the moment. Not that. Oh, was that what I accidentally got rid of? Okay. So this full screen, right? Mostly I just see a difference in this bar. We were here, we put this on the ion content. Becomes that way, basically. But anyway, to get the border, we can just add our take border class equals border. You can see it just adds it to the sides, but it doesn't add it to the top and bottom because of this full screen thing. You just get rid of that, and then it would basically look like that, just how it looks on main side. If you don't want that, you don't have to have it. I didn't like it at first, but then it kind of grew on me, and I don't know, I might change the way I feel about it later, but yeah, we can quickly just go ahead and get rid of these full screens and just add them all in so that it will look the same finally. Okay, so back to what we were doing. I guess we can go ahead and let's just go ahead and get in my table of contents because that'll be really easy to do, and then we can get back to the flashing SVGs and the audio. Let's just go ahead and add in another page under views, got M4A, blah, 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 blah. And I guess just for, just explaining it, not gonna make things too complicated. New file for TOC.view. Just copy what's in here, throw it in here. We don't really need this step. Just call it TOC, and then we'll just throw in some more pages, right? Just to be able to navigate to them. And so that we'll basically understand how it works, but basically it works like the next and previous buttons, except you're a little bit more explicit about what page tells you're setting. So nothing too complicated. So if we can add in some other ones, just some examples, we'll just add in 3 of them. I don't know why that one there. What's this? Back that. So we'll put this in here, rename this to 5, uh, just say getting started. I think that's what it is, right? Trying this down on the blow people's ears, what the difference is in the sound. Getting started, menu and theming and footer. I'll just add those as examples. So we got this. And you add theming. And another one, just as an example, call this the footer. Okay, cool. Footer, but we'll also want the stuff that'll just allow us to go back and forward. Theming. Getting started. Which I think I have on some of the about pages that we worked on, right? Go here, this one? Not too much. This isn't the, I mean, probably this, okay, this is good enough. Just copy this. And we throw this in all of our stuff. Getting started. Theming. And the footer. Okay, well, they're on man. Will just work. Okay, so these gonna have to add some more. And more. 4, 5, 6, and 7. C. Started. Theming. Footer. Document there. Eh, okay. One, 6, and 7. Footer. Spacing of it going. Not sure if I'd normally do that, but I'm just going. Started. Probably not. Uh, okay, so I think that's mostly that. So I think that should be good enough, right? Yeah. So if there's no buttons here, no buttons signal forward. Uh, okay, we still have these buttons, so we can still have those. Like we added these. Do that to our table of contents. Okay. Okay, why did I not replace it? I don't need to refresh. Getting started. Should look like that. Okay, I just needed to refresh. Yeah, mess you up having to refresh. Okay. And the footer should be the last page, so we'll just feed that in. Uh, 1, right? Letter Last page equals true. Just like this, right? Okay. So let's go ahead and get our table of contents organized. Some buttons under it, right? Yeah. I think this should. Let me see if we just uh and get important ion buttons. Import ion button from at ii/u. Okay. Get this. Get buttons in that. Button. Say what? Start. And alright. See nothing. Still see nothing. Why? I'm on the footer. This is not the table of contents. I am in the wrong place. Okay. Just stuff out. Stuff. Coloration spot. I will have to do something. Click, tap, click, jump to page. I don't know what I called it, but yeah, the name doesn't matter that much, but page select. Select. You can see what page we're on right now in that 12, right? Put application in here. Currently on 4. Makes sense. You need 5, 6, and 7. 5. Don't have this function yet, but we'll add it. 6 and 7. So that's 5. And here, just go ahead and do a div and wrap this. Put this on the outside so that we can add these in a column. So that they're not treated that way. For this, we'll say class equals what's in a column. I think. I mean, I do like the look of them just being extended. Uh, you could check something with like math. So for now, I'll just do column. Worry about that later. Anyway, a function. So really just like what we've been doing, but just more targeted, right? So if we go to what's something we just did, right? Operating system like this, but more targeted. Then you go to all the contents again. Down here, how this page select. This is right. So index, which is the uptight number, right? So we'll say this is the page index. It's really all we gotta do. We also need to import navigation, don't we? System. All right, that should be good enough. See, and there you go. That's basically a table of contents for, like you can see our page index being set and jumping around. So that's pretty much it as far as stretching the buttons are concerned. Mostly a layout thing. Come here. Let's see, we had this. No, we're using flex center column width. I wonder if I set them slightly different. This, wait a minute, flex center column width. Hmm, let's see what I have for Oh, but they just have it on this thing. All right, well, let's try that then. Not putting it there, but putting it here instead. And then let's see how I actually define this. So, I thought that I did them all the same. But the same now. No, it's not even defined actually. So, did not flex center cone, flex center height. And is there flex center width? There's not. Okay, so if I did this with flex center width, it would be like this. And basically, it's a column, but it's only justifying the content center. It's not also aligning the item center. You see, the column does both of these things, and the row does both of these things. But the flex direction is row, but the flex direction is column. But yeah, it's just like how center it is, basically. Okay, so if I do this, and then come to the contents and throw this on, still not the same. Should have been the same though, right? Let's see. No, it's I don't know what I just did was not bad, obviously. Okay, arrows the same. Cool. And I'll think more about these names, but I'll just do let's. I guess no. I guess it's probably good to have column and row inside of these names. So probably gonna break something else. So this will be flex center row height, I guess. Rename you. Okay, cool. That way, having the flex direction inside of the names may be a little bit more helpful. Okay. Oh, don't want the dot in there. Okay, this is getting started. This is menu and theming, right? Although this ain't teaching you guys anything anymore at this point. And then there's a footer, right? 3, and 2. Okay, and this basically does it for the table of contents. And obviously, well, there's some stuff in here. You could always, get out of here. Could always, open, throw a face. There's a face. Yeah, not helpful. Okay, so it's basically it for the table of contents. We come back here. Notice that all these things say Windows. They shouldn't. Let's quickly fix that. Operating system, now Windows, Apple, Flex, framework, ionic, svelte, um, vue, React, Angular. Okay, so I think there's probably some more going on here with the gaps and stuff that I probably also worked on, but let's just go ahead and get the audio and the flashing SVGs working now. Okay, so just wanted to quickly go over some of the audio code that's in the old project, just so that it'll make it easier to go through as we start adding it to the new project. So yeah, I have this component here, selection audio.view. So here you see we have this audio tag. You'll notice that we have this player down here in case you're wondering what certain things do in here. This controls thing is what makes this controls property or attribute is what makes this tag visible. We have this audio here, but there's other audios that like play the sound effects when you hover or click on it. But because we have controls here, that's what makes this visible. If this wasn't here, then this would not be visible. The user would not be able to use any of the controls. There's this control attribute, and you see we have like no download on it. If we come here, we see we don't have the option to download the music. But if we get rid of it, then you would have that option basically. But it's better just to have people go to, this person's YouTube channel, which is what, the rainbow link is for, giving credit for that. Also, I think, having something like that could be a potential risk if you have bad actors like United Against Your Health. They come here and have their bots just clicking to download the MP3, putting extra strain on the website. Or, Elon and his fucking Nazi brigade or whatever. But yeah, there's just one less thing to exploit, in my opinion. And I mean, yeah, if you really wanted it, if you've gone through the Jesus section and stuff, it should be pretty obvious how to get that. So, yeah, you got autoplay and looping the music, so it just loops the IDs. We talked about IDs before. But yeah. Because there's no controls on these, that's why they're not visible. Just a paragraph here with MP3vi and the rainbow text and the link target _ blank opens in any tab. That's nothing new. Yeah, and you have your sources for the different music. Yeah, we have this vif for this whole div for our music component. Yeah, and we only show this if this evaluates to true. And what I have here is what's known as an arrow function. You see it's like a constant like this. And from what I can tell, there's no difference in just using a normal function. It doesn't behave any differently. And when we refresh, it doesn't play or anything. And you still have to like comment to it. So yeah, if we had changed it to be like the functions that we normally use, function, get rid of this arrow function. Like these are arrow functions. Yeah, it still behaves the same. It still works. So there's really no difference there. Some of these other settings, I think we used on mounted before. There's just saying when the component is mounted, we're going to do the stuff that our get element by ID, which is just this main player for the main MP3, and we're just setting the volume basically. Okay, so I quickly went over the code and cleaned it up so that I understood what was actually doing something, what's actually necessary, and what's not. This on mount, it kind of seems like it was necessary, but it's really not. It's not going to be in the end. But just to show you what it's doing when you're working locally, in the end, we won't be working locally, but as you update it, you can see the volume change, right? If I do this, 0.15, we go to the volume, it's like 15%, 95%. 95%, 55%, that 55%. But this is only when it's mounted. This does not control, or it seems like it doesn't control when you enter the page. If I got rid of this and left and come back in and changing it on mounted seems to do nothing, but the other one actually does. And then I go change it. Go change it to make it really low, make it 5% on mounted, and go back. It does nothing. And practically speaking, the only one that really matters is this one. The on-mounted one doesn't matter. It's when you enter that matters. Because yeah, none of this is gonna be changed while someone's on the page or on the website. So I'm sure there might be a way to get that one to work, but right now it's kind of useless. And here, this stuff doesn't need to be here. And I also added this casting as HTML media element because that gets rid of those red line errors that you might have seen. And this video will be a little out of order. You might see those errors come back, but in the end, they'll be all gone. So you can cast it. It still works without casting it, right? And this is when you enter, you can control the volume for the user. So it doesn't. This is the one that's really controlling the volume. This one does not control the volume at all when it's on mount. All of these volumes are all the same. They take us to 100%. But when you come in and the navigation changes, it controls it. And we want our cast back. Yeah, so it's a little plainer. Definitely didn't need it in that function. Yeah, I don't need this either. But yeah, something else. Apparently when you refresh, you can't have it autoplay, and it's like you come in and it's playing, but if you refresh, none of the sound works. You get this error, not allowed error played field because the user didn't interact the document first. So even the hover doesn't work until you click somewhere. And then it works, basically. But this is actually something that apparently all browsers do, and there's apparently not really supposed to be a way to get around it. Yeah, largely disabled in all mainstream browsers these days. But the user has to at least interact with the page, I guess, beforehand. So I guess that's why it works when you come in. But not beforehand, so I guess from what I see, that's kind of intended. Yeah, so just this is enough. I don't think we've ever used this await next tick. And this await next tick is really just looking at when maybe it has something to do with the DOM refreshing or not. Refresh is not the word. Refresh is not the right word. As a mechanism framework environment allows the middle to execute after the DOM has been updated. It's the latest version of the DOM. So I guess the next time the DOM is updated is referred to the next tick. The DOM updates, everything's available. That's the next tick that updates again. That's the next tick. That's the next tick. I'm pretty sure you need this next tick for that volume to actually work. So if we came out and we didn't have this next tick, we didn't wait for the next tick that the DOM is updated, and it doesn't work. We put the next tick in there, and then it listens and lowers the volume. So that is necessary. But aside from that, we just have this watcher on our navigation to say that when the navigation changes, that we will do this stuff basically. And we have this async here because the next tick is an async function. As far as I know, so you'll wait it. Anything that's an async function, you have to put a wait in front of it if you want it to work properly. Specifically, you can tell it this is an async function since it's a promise. The promises are async. Yeah, aside from that, we have this component which has functions that end up getting called by our pages, like at mouse enter, whether we play a hover effect, like if the mouse enters over a button, kind of like at click, when we click the button, we want to do something, or when the mouse enters, we want to do something and to play the hover sound effect. But yeah, our functions, all of our audio functions are in there. Basically, we have play hover, and then we have these IDs that we're using to get these audio. So this is hover SFX, which we have here, and we have different ones basically. When you actually click it, right, we'll have to play that particular sound and then go to the next page basically once the the music is ended, basically. Yeah, we need an event listener to tell that, oh, this MP3 file is finished playing, then go to the next page, basically. That's basically how that was done. And then we have this page function here, basically. We play the audio when it's done, then go to the next page. Yeah. Um, as far as flashing, now we have the BF and some variable. We basically switch between our two different SVGs, one that's not flashing and one that is flashing. There's some other stuff in there that's kind of important that has to deal with being on a on a tiny phone, right? Because on a phone there is no hovering, there's no hovering at all. I think that might be apparent here, right? For the return buttons, we can always play on hover. When you click, that counts as hovering on a phone, or that'll register as hovering on a phone as mouse entered. But yeah, it causes problems versus playing both of them at the same time, right? So on a phone, right, like you hover over this and nothing happens, but you click this. The moment you click it, there's a sound. But you wouldn't want to click it and then have that sound and the other sound playing at the same time, because that sounds bad and causes problems, basically. So when you click, you just have the one sound. You don't have the option of the other sound when you're on a phone or a tablet, rather. And I just took the this value, which is like the biggest tablet in DevTools. So just assuming that it's any smaller than that, it must be on a tablet, it must be on a phone, something where there is no mouse and where you can't hover. So that's basically how that was done. And you can see if we didn't have this check here, it would basically make it just like this one, right? So we just comment this stuff out just to see what it's like. And now it's just like this one. So when these icons play this instead of, call this function, which is doing the same as this. And if we're on a tablet, basically, we click it. You can see it basically plays both sounds at the same time. Which would be it's already a shittier experience on the phone, but this is even shittier. So it makes it just a little bit more bearable for people on tablets and phones, basically. Okay, so the MP3 obviously comes from here, and the sound effects come from this link here. So yeah, it's the first one, and the other one's in there somewhere. So once you have those, then we can go ahead and use them. Okay, so once we have your sound effects, then the MP3 music file should be good to go. I guess the only other thing I didn't really touch on are these event listeners. Event listeners are a little special in the sense that if you don't remove them, they build up and they take up memory. And if you weren't removing them, that's essentially a memory leak, and your program would eventually crash or get slower because it's just taking up more and more memory every time this would be called. But this extra parameter here that says once true, so we only run this event once. So we have a listener, and it'll be listening for the music to end on this audio variable here. Once the music actually ends, this will execute inside, and then it'll remove itself. If we weren't going to use this, right, if we weren't using this, we would have to basically call a remove event listener. We wouldn't want to call another page, but we wouldn't call it here, but this is how you would manually remove it yourself or have more control over it. But we know that we only want it to play once, right, after the music's done, and we're only playing it when this function is called. So yeah, that's basically how event listeners work, but you have to be careful. You have to make sure that you remove them, because if not, it's just essentially a memory leak, and those are bad. You don't want memory leaks. Okay, so now that that's done, I think that's pretty well explained, but you can always ask questions. So we can go ahead and start adding in our audio components. Just add in a new folder here, audio, new file, selection audio.vue, and also have to add this component to our footer so that it can appear or not appear and needs to in another one. New file, selection, audio, functions.view. So I think since I took the time to explain it, everything that the code is doing, I think it's fine just to throw it in there now. Throw this in there, go to this one. We have all our different functions. We're playing our different MP3s. We have, the volume is set to 1, although I think the volume is actually set to 1 by default, so it may not even be necessary to do this, but yeah, I guess I didn't really talk about this or even revisit it. Basically pauses it and it rewinds the sound effect to 0 and it plays it. I think this is right. So basically, I can imagine what this is for, right? That is so right. It just makes it smoother. So, like literally every time you come here, it will stop the sound effect and redo it. I'm pretty sure that's probably just all of this extra stuff is just to make it faster, most likely. Because if I let's see, if I just got rid of this, this is a regular sound effect. Well, for just the return rate. Let me refresh. Have to click. Yeah, see, now it doesn't play as fast. It has to finish playing before it can play again. So that's all that extra logic is for, just to make it more responsive. So the moment that you come here, but this volume probably doesn't have to be here. I bet that doesn't have to be here. But it's basically pausing it, pausing it, rewinding it, and playing it again automatically when the function is called, and that makes it more responsive. Refresh, click somewhere, because you gotta click somewhere. Yeah, I think the volume is automatically set to 1 on if you don't do anything anyway, so I don't think we have to do that. So good to revisit that stuff that seems to do nothing. I think that about volume is always max anyway, unless you do something otherwise. So like that's fine. But yeah, all of pausing it and rewinding it is just to make it more responsive. That's responsive. Right? If you don't pause it and rewind it, you wouldn't be able to do that. You'd have to wait for it to finish. So I think that's it. I think everything else has been explained. This is ain't going to the next page, ain't nothing new. So yeah, no, all that's been explained. So I think that's good to go. The extra nines down there. Don't want those. Okay, so now that we have those, I think really all we have to do, right? Well, we still have to actually call them, right? You look here, got to import them. We'll still work on the flashing. Let's get our sound effects. Go to our operating system. Somewhere. Views. M4A. Operating system. Okay, so searching for stacks. Not really caring for that wrap. Okay, so we already know that we want to, on the return button, we want to do this. So I guess we'll just be doing this, right? Because we're not going to call the previous page. Oh no, this is at hover. So at mouse enter, or what is it? It's, yeah, at mouse enter. Mouse enter wasn't giving me nothing. We want to call this. Okay. So I think this should play. The music won't because we don't have that player set up. So I think that this should probably work. Hear nothing. Okay. We'll get everything in place and then we'll see what's wrong. Okay. We got that. And let's go get our other stuff. So our Windows buttons, go ahead and push this stuff down. There's a lot of stuff here. We also will have this variable for flashing eventually at the moment. And add in quotes. And for this, we want the special one. Right. And then next page. So that's like clicking, and on the mouse enter, that's when we have to account for if we're on a phone or not, basically. So we got that. We don't play anything for Apple, but we actually do something for Linux. I'm not sure if you guys caught that, but if the music was playing, it stops the music and it actually opens up this another video that kind of, there's more stuff in here, but it talks about Linux. I'm not sure if you guys caught this, but in the Jesus section, it also does the same thing. It'll bring you straight to Linux as well, or a different person talking about Linux. But yeah, I didn't make the Apple a button. If you click on it, it still opens the Apple icon. But I thought that if I didn't make it a button, that it might be more apparent to people if they just happen to hover over it. But yeah, maybe a slight Easter egg people may or may not miss. I'm not sure. Okay. Anyway, let's keep going and just get it all in, and then we will make sure it's working after. Okay, so we need our Linux detour. We're just opening a new tab, right? And we are pausing the audio. So this will just pause the audio. We have this question mark instead of, doesn't seem like it's complaining, but yeah, guess we don't have to check if it's null now. I wonder if the other ones you don't have to check anymore. Let me just quickly. So here, here. We got this. And we got rid of this null. No, seems like I don't care anymore. Which might be because we added this, casting here. Which I guess if it's not going to complain, I won't complain. Makes the code a little shorter. So, yeah, no more null checks then. If you don't care, I'm not going to care. Okay. Now, here we copy this over in our selection audience. It components audio, selection audio. Okay. Missed one. Okay, cool. Okay, and the other one doesn't. Maybe just on the watch, but that's gone as far as I can tell. These look like they're backwards. Okay. So this is the selection audio, right? This is the selection audio functions. Okay. Slightly shorter. Cool, cool. Okay, so getting the rest, we need to work on our operating system page to get that to work. Uh, oh, so we have this, have that. That matches just fine. Go ahead and get in our Linux detour and stuff. Because we already have a previous page right in there. Should be. And I guess we'll copy the Windows flashing. Can't use it yet, but we will need it soon after this. Yeah, no more next page and previous page. Need to import a ref from view. Okay. Eh, might as well just copy this. Actually, I don't see why this is here. What is this? Because this is when you click it, it opens this. Why would we need a link here? Um, I do remember that, but I don't think this is necessary. Refresh just to be sure. Yeah, no, didn't make any sense to have it twice. We literally have a function here that opens a new tab. Is that link the same? They're not the same. What the hell is this? What is this? Okay, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. I will revisit the other one later. Just one example is good enough. Okay, good enough. So I think just copying these is fine. I won't mess with. But I think I'm using an ion icon instead of an image, but I remember running into an issue that I wanted to show, but I'll see if it still happens or not. I think it might have actually only been in the Jesus section, but I guess we'll have to see. Okay, so where's our Linux button? Our Linux button is here. It's not a button, but we have to make it a button. Okay. Ion, ion button. Okay, now it's a button. And I'll put this icon in the button. Okay, cool. We have the, okay, let's see if that should at least work. There's nothing to do with music. Button, and it does open the thing at least, so that's good. Okay. I guess let's just go ahead and work in the rest of them, and then we'll actually get the audio player to work. Yeah, I guess that whole thing has to be mounted on the footer, and it's not. Even if the audio player is invisible, I think it still needs to be on the footer, which is not, which I think is the problem. So maybe let's go look at that. We go to footer, go to this footer, components, pages, footer. It's right here. It's not styling for it. I think the styling for it is in itself, so that should be fine. Go ahead and throw this in there. It's right there. And we need to actually import it. Right. Guess I did it. There we go. Well, at least got the music playing. Okay, cool. And a sound effects are fine. Cool. All right. Almost there. Oh, yeah, and that works too. No flashing though. Yeah. Okay. So let's see, operating system framework should be similar, very much similar. Use mm, framework. Framework. Wouldn't get that in there. I mean, probably can just work from this. There's way too much stuff open. We'll have to come back to it with the operating system here, where you can see it. So in the framework, should be exactly the same. Just like this. Mm, I missed part of the quote. They'll throw this in the language as well, and we just need to import it. So now that should work, but this should be the same for the buttons at the top. Okay, cool. Okay, so now let's see. Basically covered. Oh, that's not the right sound. And you see that delay, right? Which is cool if you hit this, because it's delayed to move to the next page. If you click this and hit return, it'll still eventually move to the next page once the sound is done. So, yeah. Okay. So we don't have the right sound effect for the language, which should be the second one, actually. There we go. And that should basically cover that. There we go. Okay. So that's basically it, except for the flashing, for the flashing. I mean, I guess there's this, which isn't super helpful, this link. And I guess might as well just copy and throw it in. Should all be the same, right? Here, why? No, here it is. Okay, this text and have different text depending on which one. So for the operating system, we throw this at the bottom. You see, there's also some different margins for the text too, because some of them are kind of off, right? Like you look at these are all fine because the margin has been adjusted, but yeah, these margins need to be adjusted. So let me just also grab that as well. Let's say cool, but I will go ahead and grab this, replace the text on the operating system. This will at least fix the margin on the Linux. That I guess what this div was. All right. Wait. Okay. I think that should fix. Yeah, Linux looks better now. Too much going on. Okay. Pause that. The Apple margin. What does that look like? And just doing it inline, I think that's fine. Doesn't look like there's any other margin here. Oh, we have this class for tiny margin top, which we have here. Not sure if we have that defined, but let's see. Also, we don't need these dark classes on the text. It seems like by default, the text just works with it. Class equals dark isn't there. Or color equals dark. My bad. Color equals dark. If it's on a text, we can just get rid of it. Don't need it there. And it'll still work just fine. This is on a button. Oh yeah, the button does need it. Yeah. But not on the text. Text works well enough without it. Okay, so do we even have? Hopefully, we already have tiny margin. Doesn't look like it. Well, we just have the large margin top, and that's it. Okay, let's go copy all these margin classes. Not gonna do anybody any good for me to be typing that stuff out. Have all these margins have some negative margins. But yeah, just a bunch of margin classes. Margin 0. Okay, I'll throw these in at least. Okay, cool. Okay, now we should be able to just use the same ones. So what do we have? Tiny margin top was it? On the operating system. On the Apple. We want to see it move here. Actually, this kind of looks fine already. I wonder if the label is more out of place. Kind of looks like the Windows one is the one that could probably be a little higher. So let's adjust that. Just adjust it as we see it. But yeah, not sure why, but does seem to be that. Oh, we also have this slot only icon. That also seems to affect the margin a little bit and stuff. Let me go back. Wrong one. That also affects it as well. And to even explain, I don't know, it's just saying that it should just be the icon and not accounting for the button. So maybe it just gets rid of space that the button is taking up as well. But you could do it either way. Um, I guess that's what I did, so I'll just do that as well. And that'll fix Windows. I don't know why Apple doesn't seem to need any help, so I'm not gonna worry about it. Okay, so on this icon, just throw that in there. Okay, it just got rid of what I imagine is all of the button space around it, but this looks better at least. And that looks about the same. We have that already, so now that looks exactly the same. Okay, so ionic, the spelt is kind of too close and it's kind of not close enough. Current, that would be under framework. So this is the spelt. And then it also already has the slot icon only. So if we took the slot icon only, let's see what that would do for us. Throw this on our spelt and see what happens. Nothing. At least seems like. So let's just go ahead and let's try. Let's see. Uh, Class equals tiny margin top. I think that looks fine. Um, and ionic would probably need a little bit of negative stuff, but let's try the slot only. See what that does for us. And we're yeah, this one's 5. you just didn't care, spelled didn't care at all. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, I think that looks fine. We just need the words at the bottom of it. Again, this not to be within the div, just the whole div. Sort it under here. Should be good. Cool. And yeah, I think that looks fine. Go to the next one. Mess with view and stuff. Let's see. Let's go ahead and throw a icon slide equals slide. Icon only. See if that just fixes our view, language, and look like it. Okay, so a class equals negative small margin top. Oh, bottom actually. Not top. The bottom of it needs to suck up the words. Or really, we could have put this on the. Oh, I think I had been putting this on the text actually, not there. So let's be consistent. And also, again, don't need color on the text. It will be fine. If we switch, it will change from white to black on its own. We do not need to put that on the text. So we'll do a class equals. Yeah, this will be negative tiny margin top. Set it tiny, do small. I think that's fine. Angular just needs a little bit of margin. Class equals tiny margin top on the text. Okay, I think that looks fine, and just need some words. Some words which we can get on the language. Go ahead and grab these and throw these on the bottom. Okay, cool. And this takes us to a sound effect. So yeah, so really the only thing that we need is just to get our flashing SVGs to work. Okay, so now we just got to get our flashing SVGs to work. Yeah, let's go ahead and get that done. This text does not need to be dark, right? Thought I got all those. Might have missed another one, but yeah, okay, so. Okay, we can go ahead and go to our fancy components. New file, Windows, flashing.view. This is just a template with an SVG in it that we need to animate. So go to SVGs, go to Windows, open that in Notepad++. You'll notice aside from this SVG tag, this one also has a style tag with a bunch of classes and fill colors. The only class it's actually using, though, is the 15. So there's a bunch of other classes that just aren't even being used, but we don't need it anyway because our flashing, we will be setting our own colors. But this is what has our paths and stuff to draw the SVG. So go ahead and just grab that, and throw that in there. Like I said, we don't need any color here. We'll fill in our own colors when we animate. Okay, and this will be very similar to our previous animations, right? If you look at this animate, if we can just grab it. You see that this one was animating the X attribute, but instead of doing that, put this inside of our SVG. I'll just put all these down. Okay. Instead of targeting the X attribute, we want to target the fill attribute. And we want to put in some colors. The colors that we use for this, I think, are blue, Dodger, it's a Dodger like that. semicolon, and then with white, then blue Dodger again, and then black. I think that's how you spell it, right? It goes flashing. No, it's Dodger blue, actually. Mega Dodger blue. Again, for the duration, we don't even need the begin for this, but for the duration, we want to do every 100th of a second. It should go through these colors, basically. And it should do that indefinitely. Okay, so for our operating system, you just need to import that. So grab that, I guess. Where are we? Where are views? Here, views, M4A operating system. Go ahead and import this Windows flashing. And we have this. This is what we're actually using to control it. So when we click our Windows button, we are going to want to set this value to true. And we still want to play our sound effect and go to the next page, but we set this to true, and we will only the if this value is not true. So we are that's how the if equals. And because it will also have this, right? And this thing we will show when Windows flashing is true. That way they're not both showing at the same time, basically. Something else, we also need to set the size of the SVG and stuff. Like if we went here and went to the top and the view of it as well, which we get from the SV view box, which you get from the SVG file. Come here. Just go ahead and throw this in here. For the size, we're doing 100 by 100, but it'll have to be slightly different than that, looking at what I did before. And it's 108 instead of 100 and 100. I think we have that here. And that's just because this one doesn't have a button around it. The button actually makes it kind of taller, I guess, and without adjusting it, it would be off. So that's why it's 108 instead of 100. Okay, so we got that. Yeah, is that it? See nothing. Let me refresh. Tiny still. Pause that. What else? So I would have thought that this size would have been, oh, right, the view box. The view box is 32 by 32 and 32 at the back. This and this. Okay, now there we go. And now that works. Yeah. There was actually a bug with Firefox, or there was one when I had originally done this, and Firefox wasn't accepting these color names. Well, I had to use a color name instead of like the pound version of the color. Like for the pound version of the color. Well, let's just go ahead instead of the if. We'll say that the flashing one is always showing, right? So now we can always see it. And the bug that I had ran into was that the flashing wasn't working at all. And the problem that I was saying was that Firefox was not working with using the pound version of the colors. It's kind of a yellowish color. But now, I don't know if there is definitely, have updated it and stuff. Then I don't know, it doesn't seem to care now, and Flash is just fine. So, yeah, that's one less Firefox bug I thought I was going to run into. Still read it to the borders. Not sure if this is still one. Two of them were really with tables, these two, and then there was something with centering the map libre map or whatever, which was kind of weird. And there was also something with Brave and Edge for Linux where I had to use image instead of an icon. It was really just on the Jesus page. And what was happening was like literally you would come here and then leave and come back, and parts of the penguin's colors were missing. And yeah, I had to use an image instead of an icon, but like I went back and tried messing with it, and it doesn't seem to be a problem anymore. And it would be weird. It should have been the same Linux icon. It'd be weird that it would only be affecting the Jesus area and not somewhere else. But yeah, this Linux thing, I did come back and try to put it back to an ion icon, and it doesn't seem to care anymore. So yeah, I'm not sure why those bugs are kind of gone, but I guess we'll see when we get to the tables and stuff with Firefox. The tables in the world map, say if Firefox gives us any issues. But okay, that's enough of that. So we have that. We just need to get in the other flashing SVGs, and we'll be good. So you can just basically copy these, and we'll just change them as we go. Let's get one for ionic flashing, and another one, and call it vue flashing. Vue flashing. Again, we have to get that stuff out of there, and we have to get our proper color. So for the view flashing, because it's not flashing blue, it's like a different shade of green, right? Um, it is medium green. Medium's a green? Medium sea green. Okay. I love. Okay. Medium sea green. And right, and you could mess with these colors if you wanted different colors, right? And if you wanted some red in there, something yellow. But yeah, we mess with that all day. We had the duration, right? If we did a tenth of a second instead of 100, it wouldn't flash as fast. Maybe you wouldn't want it to flash as fast. Um, but yeah, I kind of settled on this. Okay, right. Okay, anyway, coming back to here, this window's flashing has the if on it. So now when you click it, it switches to flashing. Okay, so right, so we gotta do the same thing for ionic. Let's go ahead and get our ionic right, and that would be under framework. Go ahead and just import this and change it. Framework. Ionic flashing. This ionic flashing. Need to import our ref from view. View. When we click this, say ionic equals true, which may call it nice. We say the if this is not true, and we have this come down here, and we will want to show this if this is flashing. Okay, let's go do the same thing for language. Inner ref import as well. You guys can kind of just copy this. This will be view flashing instead. All right, and this is the second sound effect. You view flashing, and then down here. Okay, I think that's about it. I think we just need to set up our. We see, does everything just look like everything looks like Windows now? Okay, so let's go get our ionic one. Edit that. Close. See, its view box is slightly different. Change that first. Or forget ionic flashing. Okay, that's probably the same. Got the colors, but I get our drawing right. Okay, we got this. We just go throw this in there. Mm. Okay, how's that? Cool. And then we got to do the same thing for view. All right. Yeah, I'll plane that up. I don't like the way that's indented. Okay, and then we got our view flashing. Okay, I'm gonna just throw these paths on the end. This, and different kind of view hooks. Okay, so that. Okay, not quite happy. And I think there might have been something special, but I think it's made up of. Oh, and there's a fill here. Um, but yeah, it's made up of two different parts. Let's see, made. Oh, that was still there. Um, oh right, I guess you don't actually need that impact part. Just cut it off. Okay, what's the difference? I have three. Hmm, what I took out. So they just have this part. Yeah, I think there might have been something a little different. I must have had to do for the view. Okay, it seems like I just needed to refresh because this is exactly the same. Still these fills in here, but yeah, I'm realizing that these SVGs are not the same. This one has three paths, while the other one only has two paths. But yeah, basically we want to leave in our dark green color and only fill in this color that we want to control, but now it at least stays there. So, yeah, maybe just this height a little bit, I guess, since this is different. Let's see. What if we do 15? We just want to have it not move. Still moving. That even helping. Okay, now that was too far and I was getting bigger. But yeah, these SVGs aren't the same. But the principle of how they work is the same, right? It's a little too much. That's slightly too much. Slightly not enough. 22. Look, that's slightly still not enough. 23. Still slightly not enough. Try 25. So that's slightly too much. 24. Okay. So now it doesn't move. So basically, looking at the other one, even though it has 2 paths, set it to Ryu, you want to keep this color and remove the other fill, basically. This is all we really need to do. So we can keep this color, and we want to control these colors. They must have done these in 2 parts. So if we do that, then we can control the color that we want. And now that works the same. I wonder why it's in 3 parts. So if we remove one of these paths, I guess we'll see what's missing. I guess they probably did it like a check mark, maybe? I don't see nothing missing. Maybe it's like an outline or something. Well, here obviously or not, even the view boxes aren't the same. But this one's like this, and this one's like this. But yeah, the way that you work through it's still the same. So I'll probably just keep the 2 separate ones and the 2 separate projects. I'm still going to share both of them anyway in the end. So I think that's fine. Okay, one more thing I wanted to go over. If you did end up, grabbing these sound effects from here and downloaded it and put it in CSV, like if you're using the YouTube downloader. Anyway, these sound effects are like coming out of the left ear, right? They're like in stereo instead of mono in both ears. And if someone came to the website and their left ear was out, they wouldn't hear shooting the sound effect, I guess, which kind of bugs me, right? Right, just in the left ear. But anyway, there's this website, this tool, convert.routenode.com, stereo to mono, and you can, put all these sound effects in there, and it'll convert it for you. And I already done one. Already says done, even though it says uploading, unless you have to reset when you do a second one. So that was a hover one that I did. Valid for 23 minutes. Whatever. Maybe I would have had to refresh, but if we download this and we play this hover sound, it's in both ears, so we can replace all of our sounds with that. So I'm just gonna go through all the sound effects so that it'll be a little better. But yeah, I just wanted to quickly insert this information in. But okay, I think that is good enough as far as showing how to do it anyway. So yeah, now it works as intended. So cool. So in the next video, we can finally start working on adding in our comment section. So yeah, I will see you then.